Hey guys, this is Rocky from WeLearnChess.com, and man, I just tried to play a few games. I haven't been playing much chess lately, and I'm getting totally crushed on tactics, like just crushed right out of the opening, early middle game. I even managed some winning positions in a couple of the games, and just like lost them on tactics. So anyway, I have to get back to work soon, but squeezing in a couple games, and I figured I'd just record because I don't get around to recording as much as I'd like, even though, as I mentioned, live games probably aren't my forte, but I think it's interesting. I mean, we'll see kind of what ideas I have and, you know, how correct maybe those were, especially if there are questions that some other people have that are watching the channel. Here, I mean, he can try to go knight g5, and it looks really aggressive. Yeah, it's actually probably a better move. But the king goes back to g8, and as long as black kind of wiggles out of that, he's actually probably better. Alright, so I have to watch my d5 pawn, but it's neither pawn is really under attack. They're both protected at the moment. I'd like to get my king safe, but I do have to watch out for some stuff. I don't know if there's like knight leaps and then maybe queen checks. If I play bishop d6, then I do hang this pawn. Queen f6 is an interesting move a lot of times, but again, that hangs it, so I'm wondering if I should protect it first. I just don't want to play too slowly. I'm also thinking maybe of e4. E4, where's the knight going? It can't go forward. Yeah, it can't go forward anywhere, right? I guess after it moves, then maybe there's a check. But I'll play g6. I think I have everything covered. I mean, I could be really wrong. Yeah, I think you had to go back. All right, now, again, I've got to watch this pawn. Can I just push it? And he takes here. So do I have to protect this pawn? I really don't want to. Okay, here, queen check, g6. Where's he going with the queen? He can't check anywhere, right? Okay, I'm gonna protect this because this frees up my pieces now a little bit. Queen can come to f6 if it wants to, or come out. He's got to waste some time. Queen f6 is interesting because it stops both of these knight jumps. Well, the knight one stopped anyway. Bishop d6 is now possible, which starts to give my king some ways to go. Bishop d6, maybe he's got like this knight jump, which is kind of annoying. Actually, he might have that anyway. All right, let's not use up too much time. Let's just try to get the rook out of the way and get the king back. I'm going to put the rook on the open file. Okay, so I guess I'll probably try to break the pawn. So rook f8, f3. If I play the king back, takes, and he actually is winning the pawn back, right? Am I up a pawn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not up a pawn. For some reason, I thought I was up a pawn. Okay, but I have potential attack here too, right? So what am I doing? Queen out here. And then maybe he has to either play the knight over. Okay, rook f8, f3, king back, opens up. I want to attack first. I want to attack first here. Let's come out with an immediate. This also keeps an eye on the pawn, although probably he'll play g3. So after g3, if I put the king on h3, knight can come here, but then takes, and then the light squares look really weak. Or I could just try to stay here and watch this pawn. I like the more aggressive move. Also, maybe bishop can come here. But now I guess he can break. So queen g4, I could have kept an eye on this diagonal for one more move. Although it was a little shaky, I guess. Yeah, he's trying to... I don't mind if he takes this one, because now my light square bishop, which actually right away, should I just immediately put it on... I mean, what's he going to do here? Oh, okay, I see. He wants to take, and he wants to take and then play. But, okay, if I play bishop g4, takes... it's with check. I was going to say, if it wasn't with check, I'd just play bishop f3 and I win, right? What about g5? G5 just to keep this knight out of here, that one defensive square. Is that too greedy? Maybe he breaks here with this. Can I preserve this bishop? I want to try to preserve this bishop. I'm not sure if I'm being too greedy. I still have my king opposite his rook, but maybe I can just hide it on e7. Can I just hide it on e7? I'm surprised he didn't go right away for 2 squares. But now, well, I see he's trying to get here anyway. Still though, right? It's not working. How's he going to eventually protect this square, I guess is the question. He puts the knight there anyway, but then I take his queen. So maybe he has to play the f-pawn now. Still, right? I still play bishop f3. But then maybe he sacks the exchange, takes, and he doesn't have time to take the other bishop yet because I'm still threatening mate here. But he does have a tempo move with the... No, he doesn't. I take. I think I'm still getting out of that material. It's pretty shaky with my king here. So I started to say in the beginning of the game, this line is like one of those lines that's like just winning for black if you defend precisely, but I've probably already made like... I don't know if I've made too many mistakes yet, actually. I'll be curious about it because it feels like I've played pretty aggressively. I mean, I had the bishops lined up for an attack. Probably castling short was a bad idea for him. I wonder if I even had a better way to attack. Like, if I made a mistake so far, I kind of wonder if it was not being aggressive enough. Should I take with the pawn? I didn't think about that. Takes with the pawn, I'm threatening mate immediately. He's got to take, and then I think... Is there any difference? Take with the bishop? I don't know if there's any difference here. But maybe he takes here. And then maybe... I think taking with the pawn might actually be... Is that weird? Is that more precise? If knight here... Oh, maybe with the bishop was more precise because then I'm on his queen. So this allows him to play the knight over. Knight takes. I'm still threatening mate. But then, he's got... Yeah, this was wrong. Well, anyway, I guess he still had the rook here. This knight is pretty annoying. Yeah, he has a way out of this, I believe. So maybe knight here takes. Yeah, I think he had to do that. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, wait, hold on a second now. He's just in time here for all this stuff, just in time. So should I... Okay. Alright, let's do this. I don't think I'm blundering anything. Yeah. Okay, so now he's going to get this pawn. Alright, let me do this. There's not really any way for me to protect that pawn anyway. So, I could play this. What about rook up and over here? Then what is he doing? Rook up to e2? I mean, at some point I should be able to exploit these light squares. I'm trying to sort of ignore his pieces because I feel like if I try to protect pawns and things like that, it's not the game I'm playing. Like, I should be playing for mate here, I think. Or just, if I can't mate him, he should have to give up his queen or something crazy. Although I guess if I give up like all my pawns in the process, then maybe that's a bad idea. But okay, if I leave the knight here for now, I can't take those. Okay, he's got this one. Now, can I ignore this? Just rook e2. And if he takes with the rook, takes, I'm on the queen. Queen f3 maybe, takes, then I move the rook. I haven't won any material there, right? And also he is threatening to just come in here anyway, so should I get a tempo on this bishop? Probably, right? And I can potentially double rooks this way. So I think this is okay. Can the knight fork me? Not really. I suspect bishop back here, and then I'm going to double rooks. No, I'm not, because he'll fork me. I'll get forked. But rook up here first, that looks good. And then I think he has to sack the exchange. This is protected. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like, I feel like I should have won this. Yeah, okay, so takes, that like isn't punishing at all, right? But what about rook here now? Oh, this is protect. He just. Oh, what about takes and then right here? Oh, he's got this one knight move. Okay, so wait. Rook e2. Takes. I think this is okay. And then eventually a6 I think wins material. But he has to get an in-between move. No, he doesn't. Okay. In-between move here, no. Can't take here. If he takes here... Oh, actually, he can't take here, right? And then I'm mating him. So yeah, he can't actually take this rook. He can leave the rook there, though. He doesn't actually have to take it. But in that case, then I get an a6, right? Okay, yeah, he saw that. So this does work. H6, G5 doesn't do anything. But now I can go over here, right? Now I can double. And now, if he takes this, wait, okay. Doubles, he takes here, check, takes, check, and then he's got a space for his king. So should I play the bishop here first to be really annoying? Then he can take, and he's got this file covered. Then maybe I'm threatening to... what about sacking the exchange? Does that do anything? No, I don't think so. Taking here. Okay, I'm going to be really annoying with this bishop here. Oh, that's a blunder. Ah, man, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, he could have just taken and taken the bishop. Okay, so I got lucky there. And now I'm going to come over to this 5. I have 2 minutes left. How the hell did that happen? Okay. He wants to take that pawn. Okay, I'm going to get to the open file here. Probably take that because he seems like a really greedy player. But that'll let me in here with the rook. And that looks pretty uncomfortable. Okay. I don't have a lot of time. This is probably totally wrong. He's going to win that pawn anyway. I should just let him have it. But I was thinking I can go up here next. If he goes here, then I got check and I win this. So he can't go to d5. So probably he goes to e4. Knight b4. Okay, here. Okay. He's going to get this pawn eventually, but I feel like I'm going to cause him some problems here. Especially if I can come in and... So if I could somehow get a pass pawn going over here too, that'd be really nice. I'm pretty low on time and my tactics are pretty bad here, so I guess if he pushes c3, takes. What does he want to do here? Trap my knight? Can he do that? Here, push, king, and then the knight is trapped. Right? So, okay, well his knight is out of play too. Let's try to get this bishop off this diagonal. If he goes after this pawn, maybe I'll just play the knight back. Okay, this was a incorrect move, I guess. Now I'm threatening to trap this right now. He's got some squares. Got a few squares, actually. Or 2 squares. Can I get the knight to the center, or the king to the center first, and then try to trap this piece? No, okay, he's going to prevent. Anyway, I should get the king out. Get the king to the center. I have a lot of pawns on dark squares. That's probably a problem. Maybe I should try to centralize my knight first. Okay. I don't really want to put more pawns on dark squares, but he is kind of threatening to come in and win this pawn. Oh, what about now? Oh, he can take it. Okay, so if he ever actually goes after this pawn, then I probably can promote. So actually, this isn't a threat. So let's try to get the knight involved. Like if he's greedy and tries to go after this pawn, I think I promote. He'll have a lot of pawns though. He will have a lot of pawns. And he's several jumps away from actually hitting this bishop. I have a minute left, so now I'm playing bullet. Yeah, I think he finally saw that. Okay, so I want to get my king a little closer. I guess he could take, and then try to push. The bishop's really annoying for him, but at the same time, my bishop's out of play now. It's just that I always have that kind of little quick combo that I'm threatening, where if he gets his knight too far away, his king actually can't stop their promotion. Unless he gets his king to a closer square, which would be probably a good idea, but this pawn is kind of annoying. Yeah, that's probably correct. Because at some point he can maybe push c3, get rid of this pawn, and then his king can come in. Okay. I want to... well, actually... Okay, yeah. He's trying to get his king in here. I want to... if I can get this knight away, then I can go after this pawn. Okay, I don't want to cover up my route for the king here. Let's just stop the knight jump for a second. He can go here and go after this pawn, but I can push this pawn. Okay, now he can go after these pawns. Go here. Oops, I mean down to c8. Okay, yeah, he's starting to win pawns, unfortunately, and now I just lost this. Yeah. That's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, that I should have won that game. There's no way that he should have survived that opening attack here. I don't know why I'm even bothering playing 30 seconds. I can't even flag him. I can't move the king. He can just push the pawns. Create a passed pawn. Eventually I have to move my king. He takes this pawn. There's nothing left. So this is extremely easy win. If he moves the knight at all, then I can get the king out and play g4, but yeah, okay. He could just come back and check if he realizes that he shouldn't have done that. I guess I should have went over here. Okay, I'll play this now, I guess. And now my bishop's totally out of play, unfortunately. So, it's not really... I mean, unless he voluntarily moves his king over or something. He's not in a great position to quickly attack my pawns, but he's still... he's totally winning here. Okay. Just try to get a checks. And I guess I can bounce my bishop back and forth. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, he wanted to try to fork me here. Yeah, it's too hard to... I mean, it's definitely too hard to do this. I want him to move the knight again so I can get in here. I guess if he goes anywhere, I'll pre-move that, like if he allows it. If he doesn't, maybe I'll have to move the king elsewhere. He did let me in here for some reason. I'm not sure why. I mean, I guess he can just... I can never go after this pawn because he can push that, right? And I can never do anything. Oops. Just pre-move mode, I guess. He's pretty slow. He let me out for some reason. That I don't understand. At all. Okay, I'm going to pre-move this. He can't ever go after this pawn. Pre-move this, and then maybe I'll go back. I don't know if I can do this in 8 seconds. And I have to pre-move basically everything. And at some point he'll get smart and realize I'm pre-moving. And he'll just do something crazy. I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to take this. I don't know if I can pre-move to victory here. I guess I could try to get rid of his last pawn. Oh. Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing that wastes a second there. Oh, we can't ever take that pawn. Oh my god. Oh, I just check first. Okay, well anyway, draws probably. That's probably not fair, actually. I probably should have won that twice, but yeah. Let's check this out. Alright, so we're back here, and we just want to check this analysis out. I was looking at it a little bit on my own while I was waiting too. And there's definitely some interesting ideas here. So, yeah, this going back here is interesting because it just keeps an eye on the center. Oh, I can't make arrows. Thought they fixed that. Okay, so anyway, this is correct, what I did here. I mean, it's pretty clear that if the knight has to go back, then this should be a big problem for white. Especially if black can do something before white's able to really challenge the center and try to get some counterplay. And here the computer pointed out an interesting move. So I felt like this was weak, and like I said, I wish I could change this one move. And there is a creative way to do it. So it's actually better to play bishop f5, which is a really cool idea. Now, I was worried about, so if I played here, if I didn't play here, let's just say I did, something like this. I didn't like the idea of the queen coming here, because after I play here, then he's got this, this trade, and then he's just fine. If anything, he's better. I've got to waste a move probably saving the bishop and this pawn, so that's no good. I'm down a pawn. But bishop by f5 actually prevents that idea, because if he tries to check now, you actually still block with the pawn, not with the bishop, because blocking with the bishop would open up the attack on this pawn still. Now the queen's under attack. This pawn is saved because of this bishop's blocking it. There's no time for him to play g4 to try to win the bishop, so he's probably got to just go back with the queen. There's not really a good square for him to go to otherwise. So if he's got to do that, now you can push d4, and this pawn is covered. Whoops, I'm sorry. I was trying to draw an arrow there. This pawn's covered obviously by the bishop, and there's no pin, like takes, and there's nothing like this to pin the bishop here. You can just move it at the very least, or probably protect it, and you're just up a piece here. So that means that the knight probably has to go back. And so, I mean, if he tries, like in the game, to go here, you can actually just kick it. I mean, this pawn's protected. He can't come forward. He's got to go back here. And, I mean, you could do a lot of things here. But, I mean, I don't know. Probably just developing your dark square bishop. I wouldn't take that. I would just develop it and try to go for the attack here. I mean, look at this dominating center that you've got. His terrible development. The knights have all moved a bunch of times, and they're on, like, some of the worst squares possible for the middle game. So this has got to be just crushing. And so that's why bishop f5 is better than the very meek bishop e6 that I played in the game. So okay, back to the game variation. At least it's saving them here. And that's the correct move. Basically, white doesn't have much of a choice, I guess. I mean, if he wants to try to get castled, he's got to move that knight again. There's not really anywhere else to put it. So yeah, I think the computer liked this, if I remember correctly. And yeah, here, and this is definitely correct and maintains a good advantage, but here is where I have to improve, which I didn't. I mean, I talked about it a little bit, but I didn't give serious consideration to queen g4, which I think is what the computer liked, if I remember correctly, looking at Stockfish. And what I didn't want to do is get a queen trade, because I was thinking he just plays here, but this is actually terrible for white. Because you can trade queens, and the point is, after takes, not only do you get the damaged pawn structure, but you're going to get these tempo moves in, and now, whoops, all of a sudden, you've got forks coming, the light squares are totally weak here, and it doesn't matter that, white's going to get a little bit of material here. He's going to lose too much in the process. Also, you still have potential light square attacks. I mean, you're talking about, like, after you take one of the rooks with the exchange, you're potentially doubling up and just mating him, with the bishop and rook. So he's always going to have to keep some kind of defensive setup back here. Maybe he's going to push this pawn and try to squeak the king out through the dark squares here. It's going to take him forever. In the meantime, you'll be doing some other stuff. So, yeah, I didn't see that, but that is my lack of calculation. I mean, just not even considering a queen trade, because, playing on principles, I just felt like, even though my king is temporarily unsafe, in the long run, I'm gonna get it back here, and I should have an attack. But he was able to find, forcing enough moves. So okay, I mean, it's not like this loses, but this clearly isn't. He was able to defend here. Yeah, here, again, I felt like preserving this was okay, but the computer does not like it at all. So what does the computer want to do here? Play the knight up. Yeah, what am I thinking here? Just threatening mate in 2. He can still take this bishop with check if he wants to, but he might have to preserve it. I don't know. Let's say he takes it. What is he doing here? Maybe knight here. That seems kind of unstable. Knight here, then bishop here, and then he might have to play this f-pawn take. I just feel like there's too much here on f3 for him. I still am on the f-file. I mean, maybe I should have done that earlier. Maybe that's part of the problem. I'm just not sure where I should have inserted it. Okay, so let's see. The computer variation was this. Okay, so just doing this. Okay, giving up material that way. Yeah, so I think part of my problem here is I'm too quick to move a piece. This is something that I know that I've gotten better with as I've moved up a little bit in the rankings, and it's something that if you're starting out, it's one of the first things you probably want to try to work on. Well, aside from hanging pieces, I shouldn't say it's one of the first things. It's a thing to move up in level, is to not always just move a piece immediately as far as it's attacked or trade it. Like, you want to see if you can leave it there and counterattack. And this is what I failed to do here. I mean, once you see it, it's really obvious. And I have played this theme before. I've actually played it before, so it may be even in a similar position. When you see the knight in front of the queen like this, blocking this diagonal, I mean, it's just an invitation to put pieces on these light squares. And I was just thinking about the bishop, because it's kind of the obvious piece that comes to your mind when you think about weak squares. You usually think of putting a bishop in there somewhere, but the knight's jump in there as well. And this is obviously more forceful because it's a quicker mate threat than the other one. So the other one's one move too slow. But, okay, well, this was kind of a silly variation. But okay. So he played this, which again is not, like, d4 probably would have been. Yeah, that's what the computer wants, right? Yeah, d4, because it's more forcing. And, yeah, now black is retreating. I think looking at this, I won't do it in detail because I think it's pretty clear that I've already kind of screwed this up here. But let's go forward a little bit and see, because there were some other interesting moments. Now that the attack is done, unfortunately, just about. Yeah, f3 did look like kind of desperation, but yeah, I think bishop takes was a little bit better, but it looks like this is still pretty good. I mean, I'm still in a much better position here. If I remember correctly, the computer wanted to do something else here. Let's see. I can't remember what it was. But, okay, I mean, here, all this kind of makes sense. And the computer likes my moves here. Queen f1. Yeah, I mean, I still felt like I was better. I mean, my activity's better and everything. But yeah, rook e2 is a mistake. So what did the... Yeah, I thought about this. I didn't mention it, but I thought about this. I mean, it's kind of a common move, because if you play the Marshall attack, for example, as black, you know that often you'll put the queen up here on h3, and then after queen f1, then you just slide it back here and you maintain, some protection of this pawn. You keep the pieces tied up for a little bit. In the Marshall Gambit, there's not usually a pawn here on f3, so the queen can come into g2 and kind of attack and defend along this long diagonal. But here it's even worse, I think, so I should have considered this more. I mean, h4 at some point might help a little bit, but h3 is not going to work. So yeah, this looks tough, and I still am threatening. I'm threatening either a6, or I could even maybe do something like d4, and then I'm hitting both his minors. So there's stuff that he's got to address here too. This is just the rest of the line, so the computer would move the rook in, but yeah, I mean, this is it just looks terrible. So anyway, okay, takes, bishop f4, the computer doesn't like for white. d4, yeah, I thought about that too, maybe. Like, I guess the point here is, like, you can get a square for your bishop, potentially. Also, the knight might come back here and attack this weak pawn, so it freezes it on this weak square. There's probably a couple good benefits of that. Yeah, I mean, this still looks... The bishop looks funny kind of being out of play, but white is so tied up here. Like, you could probably just maneuver this rook back and around, and eventually, like, the rooks are just going to have to stay back here. because you're going to get mating threats. And with the bishop on h3, he can't even play h4 to try to give the king like an h2 square. So yeah, white's going to have a terrible time with that. Yeah, this is a blunder. Missed win. So I went from like probably like what could have been a -2 something position to +4. So yeah, this was clearly a blunder. Obviously, he could just take this rook and then takes. That was just dumb. So again, that's my tactics awareness is not close enough. So I guess I probably shouldn't be playing into these these really sharp positions if that's not my strong point right now. But still, it just feels like the principal way to play against this opening, this particular variation where white allows that fork trick. So I mean, I guess it hasn't been too bad. It's just that I missed my attacking chance, and now you know, we get some moves here that are pretty logical, I think, from both sides. Nothing too terrible, and yeah, it's just really hard for me to hold this. And yeah, he's got to be careful, but I don't think he blundered it at any point where I could promote. So yeah, and then this is just yeah, king g4 is where I felt like it was totally wrong. Just my pawns are falling. He can create a passed pawn. I've got to come over here, and you know, this is anyway, if you want to see like how one way white could win, I guess. Yeah, there's just really nothing to do here. These pawns are marching, and the bishop can never go back in the game, and he doesn't even have to use his king. I mean, he's basically playing up a piece on the side of the board, and I can't defend against it. So that's probably, I don't know how he managed to, you know, how in the world he managed to mess that up, because that's like, I mean, I understand I messed up my part, but letting the bishop out is inexcusable because the king can never really do anything anyway. And yeah, this is just ridiculous. I mean, he had a couple of minutes left, and it's always a shame when like your opponent does something like this and you still manage to not win the game. But yeah, and even here I can promote. I mean, there's all sorts of blunders going on here. Overall, I guess it wasn't such a terrible game that I played, but yeah, I missed those opportunities, and then I did blunder the rookie too, moving that in too early. So yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and too bad I didn't get a win out of that, but I'll see you guys around for the next video.